Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Did It Work? My name's Nina. Today, I'm going to be making sugar cookies. And this recipe I'm getting from Kraft Philadelphia Cookbook, and it's on page 48. This is one of those cookbooks that you get while you're waiting in the checkout line. That's where this book came from. As you can see, I'm doing this at night again, sweats, tank top, because I'm going to let the dough rest overnight and then I'm going to bake them in the morning so that I have cold dough. And then the hope is I'm going to actually make a gingerbread house using sugar cookies. So that's what the hope is that we're going to do tomorrow. And we're going to figure out if it works. So let's go ahead and get these cookies started. The first thing that I need is my 8 ounces of cream cheese that is room temperature. The next thing that I need is 1.5 sticks of softened butter. Then we're going to need 2.25 cups of flour. Slowly at first so the flour doesn't go everywhere. After that, I'm going to start incorporating 2 cups of sugar, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and a half of a teaspoon of baking soda. Then I've just got to mix this until it's all incorporated. This should be a dough-like consistency. So when I put this in my hand, this should actually turn into a ball. And since I am going to put mine in the fridge, whether you do it overnight or not, you should at least put this in the fridge for at least 30 minutes to let the dough get cold, cool off, so that when you bake them, they don't spread out quite as much. Since I am doing mine overnight, I am going to go ahead and wrap mine in saran wrap. Then I'm going to see if this comes out in the dough. Look at that. Nice dough. Just squeeze this together and make it into a nice little ball and wrap it up. And I will be back tomorrow morning in my Christmas outfit with my Christmas music, and we're going to attempt to make a gingerbread house. Okay, welcome back. It is now morning time, and I've got my Christmas onesie on, got the flapping on. It's a workable flap, you can't see it. Okay, so I've got my Mariah Carey Christmas music playing that I usually listen to, putting up the Christmas tree with my kids, but my kids aren't here and I'm not putting up a tree, so it's got to be my gingerbread music this year. I left my cookie dough in the refrigerator overnight and it is very firm, which for me is going to be fine. For you, if you are going to roll it out, you might need to let it set out for a little bit to thaw before you can roll it out. But I am going to lay mine out in this cookie sheet because I want it to be flat so that I can use my stencils to cut out the shape of the house. Hopefully this has got to work because I'm hoping at the end of this, you guys will see a Christmas tree. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just cut the dough. Here we go. Little skinny slices and just place them on here because at the end, I'm going to end up smashing all these down to make it into a thin cookie sheet. That's my plan of what I'm going to do. This is harder than I expected it to be. I don't know what I was expecting to leave it in the refrigerator overnight, but once you get this going, it's not that bad. Let me get a rolling pin. Okay, so to roll this out, I'm going to use powdered sugar instead of flour. It's rolling really, really well. I have parchment paper on here because when it's done, I want to be able to slide the parchment paper off onto my kitchen table when I start doing the stencils and stuff. I don't want to have to fight getting it out of the pan. I'm going to do this all the way down my pan and I'm going to put them in the oven at 350 and I have my oven preheating. Okay, I'm near the end. I'm putting my last flat pieces to roll out. The white on there is not a problem. It said it's just powdered sugar. It's just got to give it a little bit more sweetness. That's all that's got to happen with that. I think this will be all, and I'll have my cookie sheet filled. I'll let you see the end. Okay, so I have finished. I still have some dough left over, which is fine because I might need it for more sides of my house or decorative things on my house. Here it is. It's going in the oven for 10 to 12 minutes, and we're going to see how this works. Fingers crossed. Okay, so my alarm went off, so I'm going to take my cookie dough out and instantly start cutting using the stencils on it. Okay, so here it is. Let's start cutting. Do it while it's hot so that it will imprint, and I'll have those edges that I want. I need to do 2 of each for a proper home, and it's cutting good, so I'm getting my nice straight edges. A couple of stars in here, another shape here, a couple of circles I'm got to do, and then I'm going to do a couple of chimneys, square ones. I guess they're chimneys. And looks like I'm going to have to roll some more dough because I don't have enough room for my roof. So I'm going to do this again. I'll see you in a minute. This is the reason why I put this on parchment paper, just in case I needed to take this off and use this pan again. I want to be able to use this pan without having to wait for it to cool down. So I can just grab that parchment paper and slide this off. Looky there. Then I'm going to set it aside and let it finish cooling. Okay, lay some more parchment paper, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to roll this out really thin and hope and pray this has got to work at the end. Okay, so that's all of my dough, so let's hope this worked. If not, this will be a failed gingerbread video, but I think the cookies still taste good, so we'll taste the cookies and see if it's a good sugar cookie recipe. Now, just to let you know, I do love to bake, but I was never a cookie person. I don't know why, but cookies was never my forte. I always thought they could taste better and be better, and I never took the time to really master cookies. And I also think it's a patience thing. Cookies are individual. If I want to decorate them, I have to decorate each individual cookie. I don't have that patience. I like the cake. I like the pie. I like that. This one time I've done it. It's good. The individual things that I have to decorate, like the first couple's got to look good. After that, it's got to be like, what happened? And what happened was I ran out of patience. That's why I don't do many cookies. Okay, these are going back in the oven. I'll see you in another 10-15 minutes. Okay, I'm taking the last one out of the oven. Looks about as good as the last one, so let's go ahead and get my house. All right, there we go. I'm gonna put this over there with the other one, and I'm gonna let them cool, both of them, and then we're gonna start the house. So we're gonna move over to the table and start crossing some fingers. First, we're gonna make the icing though. Okay, so now it's time for the royal icing. I've never made royal icing before, so a lot of this is going to be trial and error for me. Did it work? We're gonna see. I bought the egg whites because I didn't want to have to throw away all those egg yolks because I'm gonna be leaving town and I know I won't find something to use them in. So I need 3 egg whites. Now it does say that it's best to use room temperature egg whites because they froth better, I guess. So here we go. Medium low. We're going to beat these until frothy. I have a couple of videos out there, short takes where I show you how to make a meringue, so I'm not going to make you sit through this again. Okay, it's frothy, and so I'm going to slowly start adding on low. Oops, that's off. Gradually add in the powdered sugar. Add a little bit, and then I'm going to incorporate it. I'm going to just get that tablespoon I was working with and use that. Doing it pretty much 1 tablespoon at a time and letting it incorporate, going slowly because that's what it told me to do. And also at this time, we would add the vanilla, and it's just 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And for me, a teaspoon is approximately a capful, and so that's what I am measuring in there. It's just a capful. And there's my vanilla. Okay, I'm going to keep doing this, and I'll be back when I've got all the flour incorporated in. You should start noticing the texture of this is changing. Um, it's getting more icing like a texture to it, thickening up a little bit. Still got about that much sugar left to add. And this is about, it's 1 pound of powdered sugar, which is about 2 1/3 cups of sugar. I probably still have about another half a cup to put in. But do this slowly, because I think the slower you do it, the less likely you're going to have lumps. I'm not for sure about that, but that's my thought. Also, you could sift this powdered sugar as well to eliminate the chance of it being lumpy. I did not sift it, but I'm sure somebody's got to tell you that's what you should do. Okay, so I've added the last of my powdered sugar. I did all 1 pound of it. I'm going to incorporate that last bit in there. I'm going to take my baby spatula, and I'm scraping around the edges, the rims of my bowl to make sure there's no ingredients at the bottom that hasn't been incorporated. I'm going to increase this to a medium-high speed, and I'm going to whip this until I have stiff peaks. I think I have stiff peaks. I'm not for sure how stiff the peak should be since this is actually icing. So, not for sure, but I think those are stiff peaks. So, I'm going to say it is because I don't know. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in my piping bag. I put a small piping tip in the bottom of my piping bag, which is just a Ziploc bag. I cut the corner, put a piping tip so I can do my lines. And I'm going to go to the table and we're going to start this. Let's go ahead and taste one of these. See, I got it nice and thin. Still soft. This is really good. So even if the gingerbread doesn't work, this is a really good sugar cookie recipe. So I would use this again for a sugar cookie recipe and just roll it out and make sugar cookies. Obviously, don't roll it out this thin. There's one. These still might be too soft to make a gingerbread house with. See if I can get my walls off. Woo! I almost threw the house on the floor. I am liking the idea of using the stencil right after it came out of the oven because I don't have to worry about pre-cutting them and them expanding in the oven and getting out of shape or anything like that. But at the same time, I did waste a lot of dough. So there's negatives, positives and negatives, but it's not a waste for me because all this stuff is edible. I can go ahead and eat this stuff. Okay, got a side. Making a gingerbread house, so I'm going to assume I am going to have quite a mess, so I'm not even worried about that. Hence the onesie decision. Another side. It's the last side. I don't have any room, so let's just see what we have to work with. I do not think these are going to stand on their own. So this might be a fail to make sugar cookie gingerbread house with this recipe. May not work. It's not structurally sound. Let's see if I can make some magic happen with the icing. I have never used royal icing before, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into at all. So let's see what happens, huh? Guess I'll put it on the edges. Yeah, this is not gonna work. Yeah, it's too soft. So the gingerbread failed. The icing tastes fine, and the cookie is wonderful. but I will not have a gingerbread house with this cookie because it's way too soft. But I have a wonderful recipe for a soft sugar cookie that is delicious. So, gingerbread, fail. Sugar cookie, success. As always, love with your heart, cook with your soul. My name is Nina. Have a Merry Christmas, everyone.